Testing. Testing. Is this thing on? Let's get this started. Hill climbers, hill fantasy players, people from all elevations, let's head down to base camp. This one's for Crate. It's been 2 years. 3 maybe. Let's go. We used to fly in on the spaceship. We're going in the sub now. Heading down to the island. Hero Island League is officially starting. Woo, a lot of work. Here to have some good times, some good vibes. Let's take it down to the island. It's not a long journey, but strap yourselves in. We're in for at least a 2-hour show today. Lots of other Catan going on. Check those streamers out too. We love to support everybody. But right now, it's all about Hero Island League. That one was for you, Crate. That was a shout out to Crate for the submarine idea. That was a lot of fun to make. But base camp, this is where we'll be hanging out for the majority of our Saturdays. That's right, every Saturday until November 30th when we reach the summit. We're going to be right here hanging out at base camp. Hanging out around the fire, talking about Catan, enjoying each other's company. I've got a lot to share. You've probably seen a lot of the posts going out in Discord. If you are in any of the Discord communities, ! Discord in the chat. There's so much content, so many posters where you can get all of your information. Join, and then make sure you check out the pinned messages. All of it's in HIL Central, HIL Fantasy, and I'll be posting more as the day goes on today. But I've got even more for you, so come on inside. Come inside and we'll talk about HIL. That's better. That's a little more familiar. I've redecorated a little bit, but I think for the OGs, the people who remember, this is actually where we spend most of our time. Actually, I've been here the whole time. Anytime we were in the study, I was out camping. It's right here, yeah. So we got Hero Island League over here. A lot of throwbacks for the people who've been here for the early streams, but I realize there's a lot of people who don't remember or don't even know about me, which blows my mind. I guess it's been 2 years. There's a lot of people that have come into the scene, which is awesome. We always need new people in the scene, new streamers, new content creators, new players. All right. It's nice to just hang out in here with you guys. But that's not what we're here for. We need to basically tell you all about Hero Island League. So let's get in there. It all started as a concept, an idea. You know, I watch a lot of Catan content. I watch most of the streams. I watch most of the videos. Big fan of 4-player content. Watch the nationals. And so I had this idea, you know. Initially, it was RHBFCT, Retired Heroes Best Flocking Catan Tournament Extravaganza, which was a whole other tournament, a whole other event. But this really just took hold. And I really wanted to push this out. So Hero Island League, it was a new concept based on a tournament format where it was more than just wins, more than just victory points, right? and we really wanted to kind of push the boundaries of what a tournament could be. And so we came up with this new format. Let's walk you through it. Okay. So Hero Island League, we're literally hoping to change the landscape of leagues, tournaments, any competitive format. And so we start on an island. That's maybe the first big change, a group stage. You know, rather than just one large player pool, we're going to put people together, create rivalries, and really match them up head to head so we can compare and see how people stack up against each other. More on that in a little bit. So 5 players per island. And this edition of the Hill, we've got 2 islands, of course, and you'll hear more about that. Hero Island, Fluffy Island, you've probably seen that before. And so you're only going to be playing against those players, but truly you are competing against everybody else. The race for the summit. But on that island, 5 players, you will play 4 games. Each hill climber, we'll call them, will play 4 games. And out of those 4 games, you're actually going to match up with each other player exactly 3 times. So there will be a tiebreaker, right? There will be a tiebreaker. If you play somebody 3 times, you're going to be first, you're going to be second, you're going to be third. Relative to them, we'll be able to calculate how you compare to each other player on the island. I think that's so exciting, so interesting. And what are you playing for? Hill Points. Hill Points is a brand new system. It may need some tweaking, but the balance seems right. I actually used this system to mark the TSS2 when that was running. Shout out to TSS2 that was going on there and everybody that was involved there. Hill Points, we're going to explain that a little bit more, but you get points for doing things in the game. You get points for doing things in the game, and it rewards good, solid, basic foundational play. We'll talk about that a bit more here. Ultimately, it's going to lead to the summit, which is the peak of online gaming. It's going to be at the very top, one final table to see who wins it all. And that was how the Hill started, or the idea of the Hill started. So let's get into a little bit more about what the Hill is, but I think you need to know about the hill climbers first. So yeah, tell all your friends. We've got so many people coming back. So many people coming back. Wait, Dice. Do talk about the Hill. Talk about the Hill. Spread it amongst your community. Tell people to come check it out. Tell them to watch this stream from start to finish, because all of the information will be packaged here. It's all been leaked out a little bit at a time. Also, shout out to Kelly. Thanks for that. So, more about the Hill. People need to know what it is. Those were our hill climbers, starting with Alti, and we went reverse alphabetical order because Dabbab thought he could get a little bit of that alphabetical buff. But the Hill, Hero Island League, 5 island level games, group stage games, but eventually only one summit game and only one champion. And we'll use this roadmap because part of how I wanted to structure this tournament was to make sure that everybody knew exactly what stage of the tournament we were on. Sometimes when I watch other leagues, I'm not sure if people are at early stage of their season, mid-game, late part of the season. This, I think, will make it really easy to follow along and figure out where we are and how close we are to the summit. But what about the rules? Rules of the game. Okay, this is where the hill climbers have to pay attention because the rules are basic Catan rules. We are going to follow the rule book as much as possible, and anything that's not covered in there will go by the spirit of the rules. A part of the reason why I want to use this specific rule set was because I think there's a principle in training that we use called specificity. And if we're training to do a certain functional movement, or if we're training for something, we have to choose exercises, activities, and practice repetitions that mimic that as closely as possible so that they're applicable and they're transferable skills. I find there is a growing disconnect between online and IRL. Especially with nationals going on and high-level online tournaments, there's been more of a shift to these things like extortion, free card trades, insurance, some of these that aren't allowed when you go play an IRL tournament, right? And so what I want to do is get back to more traditional Catan, train people from here so that they can actually go and succeed in person tournaments. So follow the rule book, no extortions, right? When robbers or knights are moved, the rules say you must move the knight immediately, so I will expect that. Hill climbers will move that knight immediately, which I think will also speed up the game. You may not give away cards, so no free card trades. That is very explicit in the rules, so we're not going to see that 2-for-1, 1-for-1 back and forth in this tournament. Not in my house. No trading of like resources. Now, in the rules, it says, you can't trade 2 wheat for 1 wheat, that sort of a deal. But I think the spirit of the rule implies that, in certain cases, insurance may not work. So you may just have to give up a 2-for-1 to get under 7. Or, you might just have to give a better deal and then non-bind and expect that non-bind to happen later on. I'm actually a big fan of non-binding because it is written in the rule book that all trades, all deals are non-binding. So you actually do know that I'm a fan of that. And of course, no king making, even though we're playing for points, even though we are playing for a huge hill fund, which we'll talk about in a bit. No king making. We're playing for our own wins. We're playing for our own points. And you know what? It's actually in your best interest to get as much hill points as possible to increase that spread between the players anyway. So let's talk about the path to the summit. So path to the summit, mentioned earlier, 2 islands, Hero Island and Fluffy Island. 5 games, they're going to play to the summit. How do you get there? There's going to be 1 winner per summit, okay? I think we just hit an ad break. If you're subbed, you'll hear what it's all about. If not, come back and watch it. Summit, there's going to be 1 winner from Hero Island, 1 winner from Fluffy Island, based purely off total hill points. After that, we have 2 more spots at the summit, okay? At the summit, those 2 other players are going to be chosen from their overall hill points, regardless of island. So realistically, we could have all 3 players come from a single island and then only the 1 other winner from the other one. That part's yet to play out. In future formats for the hill, I envision seeing 3, 4, 5 islands potentially. And so, we could actually match it up that there's different groups and maybe even a summit group, not just a summit game. I think there's a lot of potential for this style, for this format. But the hill points themselves, I think you're most interested in this. I guess I should talk to you about the groups themselves. Who's on which group? You know the 10 players, you know the 10 hill climbers. Over on Hero Island, you've got the return of Shinislaw, you've got Hakuna, you've got Kelly C, Ivy 27, and Dabbav. Over on Fluffy Island, you have Ultimagnu, you have DJ Z5 coming back out of retirement too. You've got The Real Crate, fan favorite. You've got Forkman, aka Donnie, and then Ice Queen, rounding out Fluffy Island. The HIL point system. This is what everyone is most interested in, is what is the system. Every game, when you're playing, you will be rewarded. You will absolutely be rewarded for doing things in Catan. 2 points for a road, for building any road. So when you start the game, you're already going to start with 4 points. 2 points per development card that you buy, regardless of what it is. If you bought one, you did something in the game, you're going to get 2 points. Those are mostly tiebreaker ones, but they do show kind of your effectiveness in the game. You're doing something. Settlements, 10 points per settlement. That means you're starting the game with 2 of those. You've got 20 points plus your roads. You're already at 24 HIL points per game. When you upgrade to a city, that city is worth 15 points. Every city at the end of the game is counted as 15 points. And of course, each victory point then is worth 10. So if you win, that's 100 points. Right off the bat, 100 points, 100 victory points. But on top of that, you've got bonuses. We've got largest army and longest road bonuses of 15 additional points. So not only do you get the 2 points, 2 victory points, which is 20, you get that bonus 15 because you took one of those, I guess, longest or largest bonuses. Finally, you have the win bonus, plus 20. On top of the 100 points from 10 victory points, you're going to get that plus 20 to really push you ahead. And we do still want to reward victory, right? We do still want people to play for victory. Shout out Farmer, thanks for the 100 bits. So that is the HIL point format. Even more impressive, though, I think, is the potential for tiebreakers. If we have any tiebreakers at all, I don't think we will actually have very many ties, because if you build 1 extra road, if you buy 1 extra development card, that's going to put you 2 points over somebody else. So 2 people could be on 7 points, but they could have drastically different scores depending on their path in the game. And I think it will make people think about how they're gonna feed army or feed road, or try to play for it and keep it themselves. Okay, but if we do run into a tiebreaker somehow, some way, we're gonna go by total HIL points, of course. But that's usually the tie. So then we go by win bonuses. I still want to reward winning. Winning is always number 1. But then there's the opportunity to do head-to-head matchup, because each player on each island plays each other 3 times. We can definitively say, for example, Hero beat Farmer twice and Farmer beat Hero once. That means Hero is a better player, for example. And then, of course, if that somehow is a tie, longest and largest bonus, or maybe some other ways to break those ties. That was just an example. All right, before I bring up this itinerary, I do have to tell you, I sent out surveys for the best time, for the best dates, and everybody replied and said that they were available for these times, but life happens, subs happen, we're still gonna make it happen, okay? We're still gonna make it happen. We do have lots of subs, so shout out to the subs for coming in, saving the day, because these are scheduled events. And they're scheduled so that it's easier for the viewers and the fans to tune in, watch the games, play fantasy, and they know what to expect. So what do we got? We've got 5 island level games. These are going to be Saturday, October 19th. That's next Saturday. Okay. People are getting timed out in chat. That's next Saturday, starting at 1800 UTC. That's going to be Hero Island first, and then it's going to be Fluffy Island, which is going to be at 2000 UTC. Okay, and that's going to be every week. October 26th, November 2nd, November 9th, November 16th. Every Saturday we're going to go. We do get one short break though. November 23rd, we're going to get a little bit of a break. And then November 30th, we're going to be on the summit. But yeah, shout out to the subs. People have got lives. At the end of the day, Catan is absolutely just a game. We're here to have fun. People have some exciting things going on IRL. I know what they're doing, but those real life things take precedence. In the end, they will still get to play for the prizes. The subs will also get rewarded too. I believe in paying the players. I believe in valuing their time, but more on the prize pool in a little bit. What you might be interested in, especially as a viewer, is HIL Fantasy. HIL Fantasy is a chance for you to win every week, at least 1%. You know, all you have to do is pick 3 players, fill out that form, pick 3 players, and then that's it. You sit back, watch the games, and we're going to calculate all those HIL points for you. If you win that week, you're going to win 1% of the total HIL fund at the end, once it's all said and done. Every week there's going to be a prize, and then HIL Fantasy players will also be able to play for their own HIL Summit, which means the top 4 players of HIL Fantasy get one more round to determine who wins the whole thing. And if you make it to the summit, that's another bonus percent. And then, of course, if you win the whole summit, that's 10%. So all in all, a HIL Fantasy player could win up to 15% of the entire HIL fund, which I think is pretty impressive for just being able to watch. But you know what? If you want to support, there is some HIL Fantasy merch, HIL gear. Of course, there's the cards too, exclamation mark merch and other things. Oops, HIL gear. There we go. Cheers to y'all. I do actually have one of the shirts here too. Champion. Farmer, what are you doing in my chat? You're getting banned. Getting banned out. I'm not moderating. It's just the bot that's doing it. HIL Fantasy, Hero Island League, right there. Get your merch, support. Again, everything goes directly to the HIL Fund, so I am not taking anything for myself. This is all for HIL climbers, HIL Fantasy players. It's all going directly to them. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm just doing this to really push Catan and the online community forward a little bit. You're probably interested though in how much the fund is. How big is the fund? Hero Island League, the HIL fund currently as it stands is over $500 US, and that means 20% goes to the HIL champion, 10% for just making it to the summit. So 3 other players will be there. All HIL climbers will be paid for their time. They're going to be playing, again, 4 games, potentially 5. They're giving up their time on the weekends to give us a good game, entertain us. So I want to make sure they're compensated for their time. And then HIL Fantasy, just like I explained there. I think it's time for a commercial break. I've been talking for a long time. Yeah, don't go anywhere. I know Twitch just sent us on a little commercial break, but sit tight. Make sure the sound is good on this one for me, please.
Have you or someone you know been scammed? Did you get stolen from while in last place? Were you unfairly robbed when someone else had more face-down development cards? Maybe you were on the receiving end of a nasty non-binding arrangement. Or most heinous of all, were you on the other end of a dirty monopoly? Here at Hero Associates, we want to help you get a fair deal. Don't pay a single thing when you call now, and we can negotiate a future deal once everything's settled. Call 1-800-NO-SCAMS right now to get back in the game. That's 1-800-667-2267. Once again, 1-800-NO-SCAMS. I'm Retired Hero, and I want to know how I can help you. Are you or a loved one experiencing breath holding? Asking, how am I going to win? Sudden urge to make deals? Increased heart rate? And clenching of the fists? If you are, you might be getting plowed. Getting plowed is the second leading cause of Catan, only behind being solo blocked while in last place. Learn to recognize the signs and symptoms of Catan early, and you might be able to save yourself or someone you love. Remember, it's basic. This message has been brought to you by the Fluffy Wellness Group. Worried about letting it ride? Afraid of those nefarious robbers? Theft is up 7,000% in the last century. Are you willing to risk it all on the roll of the dice? Flocksurance has been in the insurance industry since before Retired Hero was retired. Here at Flocksurance, we believe that together, we're safer. Don't be caught with your hands full. Contact 1-800-INSURED to get the best protection your resources can buy. Call 1-800-INSURED now for instant guaranteed protection with Flocksurance. Flocksurance. Together, we're safer. Did you know how much it costs to keep the plows running on the hill? Many people don't know that plows require critical annual maintenance, fuel, and copious amounts of waterproof wax. For the low price of just one hexagon-shaped cookie, you could keep the plows operational for another 69-turn game. Click the link below now to help keep the plows operational. After all, what's a game of Catan without the plows? That's right, it would be a sad, plowless affair. Donate now, and all of your donations will go directly to the HIL Fund. That's right, it supports HIL Fantasy, and general plow maintenance. Together, we can plow our way to a better future.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that's our commercial break. So that's going to be played between games because we're going to have 2 games every weekend. So I figured we needed some sort of an ad break. That's great. All right. So that is generally the HIL format. I do want to take a little bit of time right now, though, to shout out all the people that have already supported HIL, and it's been overwhelming. There's been a ton. So let's check out the card catalog here. Of course, you can get your own cards. There's also some giveaways. There's some giveaways in each of the major communities. Catan Champs is giving away 5. Catan Community is giving away 5. And King of Catan, KOC, they're also giving away 5 too. And that's all thanks to the giver, who you'll see in a bit here. So we came up with this idea, super fun idea, to do cards inspired by, old X-Men superhero trading cards. So we made these up for everybody, for all the hill climbers. You've got Dav Bav here. We can go through each one a little bit. So Dav Bav, you can see him there representing Romania too, and you know he's all from the UK there. Super high card tracking, dice rolling, dev drawing, out of this world. Hex Sense, Table Talk, look at that, almost nearly maxed out. There's creativity, plow factor, 0 card meta, baby, for the Dav Bav. I think he's a pretty strong contender, and of course he's doing a lot in the scene too, CPI, his own streams, KOC, he's been in a little bit of everything here, and I think he's got some projects coming out. Also, some of that 2 sheep luck, which we will be playing on. DJ Z5, welcome to the island party. Woo. It's been a while. I actually haven't seen him play a game, so I don't know how this is going to go. But he is one of the fanciest players, which is why you see his creativity so high up there. I think he's actually a fan of the slower pacing meta, which is, I think, by devs before you City, so maybe we'll see some of that. But he ran TSS1, did a tremendous amount for the scene back then too. So shout out to DJ. We've got Donnie Forkman, who I dare say might have the highest overall stats of everybody that we pulled. Card tracking near maxed out. Same with Hex Sense and Plow Factor. And he used to play Tuesday, so I've been on the other end of that Plow Factor as well. His dice rolling, dev drawing, super good. So is his table talk and his creativity. Donnie likes to take unconventional setups. If you ever watched one of Dav Bav's streams, he never believes in him. He never believes in Donnie's setup, and yet somehow, some way, Donnie is competitive and he comes back to win. Don't worry, Farmer, I removed the no cap spamming, so you're probably safe. I don't know if you want to test it though. Ice Queen here. Check it out, Ice Queen. England and Netherlands. So Hex Sense, out of this world, and you know what? I think I agree with this one because she's fantastic at base Catan, but also C and K. Think with your brain, not your mouth. Oh, sorry, we should actually go through Donnie's suffering from success. What a saying, hey? Then we've got Ice Queen here. Close runner-up was Let It Go for Table Talk. But great card tracking, great creativity. I think her dev drawing is probably up there, especially if she plays Cities and Knights. She draws a whole bunch of those progress cards. I'm excited to see how she does in the tournament as well. Ivy 27, we go way back. We casted some early Champs game way back in the day, some early Catan community games. Ivy's been in the scene for as long as I can remember. TSS1, and basically involved in every other tournament since. So shout out to Ivy, trying to be flexible, coming from the US of A. Plow Factor is up there, Table Talk. Always great to have somebody like Ivy at the table. It's going to be a pleasant experience. He also brings that worldly experience playing GeoGuessr. He's into, Pokemon, auto battles, all of that. You can always find Ivy down for a good game. You see a little basketball net in there too. I think he's like a giant in real life too. So big personality, big person. Happy to have him at the tables. Kelly C, one of the anchors of the community right now, one of the most active. USA, Italy, it was always the 11 brick, high on the hex sense, high table talk, creativity, plow factor, and card tracking, but he did put the dice and the devs, those luck factors, a little further down the list. But Kelly has been covering a lot of the scene for a long time. I assume most people here will know him. He's got a Twitch channel up there too. Glad to see you're safe right now from the storms too. Crowd favorite, a real wolf called Crate. We went back and forth through a couple different logos. Crate is coming back too. Shout out to Crate. If anyone knows what's going on with him IRL, he's had some exciting times. The wolf on the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. What a character. If you're in the Flock channel, the Discord, the stuff that he posts is beyond entertaining for me. I think he is so entertaining, and his plow factor, that is the give the people what they want. That is the 912, the kid himself. I think that's a frame breaker. Blow that stat out. But his creativity, his hex sense, this is a player. He's an OG. He knows his Catan. Very entertaining to be around too. So looking forward to that. And again, Denmark and Germany we're representing. And back to back, we're going to get another representative from Germany. It's Shin. Shin coming back as well. Shin, one of the most active. He actually had a podcast. He was part of TSS1, a little bit of TSS2. One of the only streamers who I know that wore a sheep costume while casting a tournament. So Shin, great player. If it hadn't been for Katna Joe, I'd been Rich Batch a long time ago, he says. Dice rolling, table talk. I think his table talk is probably one of the best. Thanks, Farmer. Yeah, winner of RHBF CTE. And then we all disappeared. After RHBF CTE. But Shin actually won a whole bunch of bounties. He won a whole bunch of games. Super fun to have him at the table. Table talk is up there. Great presence. Creativity, plow factor. I think plow factor should be up there too, since he's the only one with that cheap costume. I'm sure it's laying around somewhere. Good dice rolling, so hopefully no sevens out. No sevens for him. Dev drawing, I don't know why he put his hex sense down there. I think he's just trolling himself, memeing himself. But good to have Shin. And the golden child right now. Avoid the chilling effect. Super GM Hakuna Matata. Viva Mexico. Card tracking, hex sense, table talk, creativity. Full marks on all of those. A touch of plow factor in there, just a dash. But no dice rolling or dev drawing. He thinks that luck is against him. Cheeky little logo. I didn't do that. That was not me. Okay, that was Hakuna. He thinks he's wearing the crown already. He's pulling a little LeBron. Self-crowns himself. Avoid the chilling effect. Let's see if he can do that on the hill. Shout out to Hakuna, though. He actually does so much for this scene. He took Tuesday and made all those puzzles. He's also a fantastic YouTuber. He does tons of content out there. Some really good stuff, so you should check that out, too. Another content creator from the land down under, Ultimo, GNU or Ultimagnu. Cat lover, Riddler. He's actually at another convention right now. Plays Wingspan, plays chess. What doesn't he play? He's putting the cat back into Catan. Really good table talk, and really just just his accent alone is enough to really put people at ease at the table. We've got card tracking, hex sense, dev drawing, plow factor, creativity all up there. I don't know, I gotta look back at these, but somebody's got to be good at dice rolling. Somebody. He's also one of the Yetis of the Hill. Super generous. I got to shout him out. Thank you again. I did originally ask all of the climbers to contribute to the Hill Fund, but in the end, I figured I'd just kind of leave it. And so we've already gained enough, but he decided to put a little extra into the Hill Fund too. So anyone who donates above a certain amount, I'm calling them a Yeti of the Hill because it's a legendary level of support, something far beyond what I had expected, far beyond what I had hoped for. And that's our next Yeti is Farmer. Farmer has actually donated so much. She was actually one of the original climbers invited to be on the hill, but some of it's timing, some of it's schedule. Farmer has given so much. She will solo block you. Originally, that was also going to be Shut Up Hero. She's a trailblazer representing Chile. High plow factor. She's given, when she was actually part of TSS2, and we were helping her train for that. And part of TSS2, whatever her winnings were, she actually donated that to the Hill Fund too. So super generous with her time. An amazing person. And I'm going to say a large part of why I came back to do this tournament, because it was originally supposed to be RHBF CTE 2, but here we are. So shout out to Farmer. And there's going to be a little bit more from Farmer a little bit later on. You'll see. There's another surprise coming up. Karmoshenko, representing India, Gumo. Again, another community person who has done so much and is still doing so much. One of the mods of the scene. Another original invite, and again, unfortunately, schedule just didn't work out. Would have loved to have Karma on here. Finally, a chance to get her on the other side instead of just behind the scenes. But plow factor up there, card tracking. You will catch her. She'll be a sub. Farmer will be a sub here as well. And you'll see that again as the itinerary is put up again. Sparrowhawk, one of the early trailblazers. Again, if you see trailblazer, it means they're supporting the tournament early. And then eventually, that Trailblazer designation will go away once the tournament starts. But Sparrowhawk, Canada, Scotland, look at that. Look at that eye. He was locked in. He was ready to go. Hex Sense, card tracking, dice rolling. He's actually involved in KOC and a whole bunch of other tournaments. I'm sure you've played a few games with him. He would have been great to have on there too. Again, he was supposed to be a sub, but just due to circumstances, again, I think he'll be watching this time around. But thank you, Sparrowhawk. Much appreciated. Then we got Bouncy Knight. Bouncy Knight, who just recently took on more responsibility in this scene too. One of the robbers in the scene. The best play is a double play. Oh, sorry. I should say, don't trust tens. I don't know where this came from. There is a thing. I've seen a couple of them. You'll actually see it in a little bit, but don't trust tens. I actually do like tens. I think tens are okay. There's 3 pips on them. Tens are all right. The best play is a double play, though, for Bouncy Knight, representing Netherlands. You see a nice little castle in the background. Plow factor, maxed out, creativity, dev drawing, and dice rolling. There we go. Bouncy Knight will be a sub. Week 2, I believe. So Bouncy Knight, I think, is ready. I think Bouncy Knight is eager to get in there and show their stuff. Really happy that he could step up and play for us. Vamos. Super, super good guy. Can't say enough good things about him. He basically, streamed every game for TSS2. He goes back to TSS1. He plays Azul, Larcana. Super friendly guy. He does a podcast too, right? He does a podcast with Donnie. I guess I should have shouted out Donnie too. He's the co-host of that. No One Wants Your Fork and Sheep. So he's still waiting for Donnie to go to West Virginia one day. A trailblazer. And again, a supporter of the Hill and everything we do. High on creativity, dev drawing, card tracking. Vamos is a competitor. And he'll be subbing for us as well. So thank you, Vamos. Julia 11 Gulia. We've got USA, Texas representing. Never trust a 10. What did I tell you? There was more here. The Catan mom with high creativity. I love the rainbow on the icon there, on the logo. Dev drawing, hex sense, equally as good. And And then we've got dice rolling, card tracking, and a high dose of that plow factor. A high dose of that plow factor. So Julia will be subbing in. I'm excited to see how that game goes too. But thank you, Julia, for supporting the Hill. SJ123. Super creative on this one. You know, they had the idea to really darken everything up, representing India and US. Roads, super greater than devs, apparently. I think that's a small camp, but maybe growing. I don't know. After TSS, there was a TSS special. Road did prove to be better than devs. But Hex Sense here, creativity, card tracking, all high stats. I've actually seen more games now of SJ in the last probably month than I have of anybody else, because he just happens to be in so many people's games. And I just learned that he plays about 200 games a month or something like that. Maybe more, I don't know. Next is the Giver, the biggest Yeti of the Hill so far, representing Hawaii. Don't give up, choose life. The Giver, you've probably seen him in a most recent YouTube feature. He made it to the national table there, played well, showed well in the semis as well. High on the table talk, creativity, plow factor, Hex Sense should be up there too. You know, if you make it to a final table at a national event, you gotta be good. So thank you, huge thank you. And again, he's the one that has basically enabled us to give away pieces and cards on each of the community servers, Catan Community, Champs, and KOC. One of those has been claimed, by the way, in KOC. And the one who did claim it was Shanks. Shanks representing Brazil, and they've actually started a new league, so shout out to Shanks and Bruno as well. It's real hell. Sheetport never fails, so they're representing, and he himself, what a legend. What an absolute legend Shanks is too. And I brought up casting with Shin back in the day. We had casted a Shanks game, and Shanks remembers those casts, and he went back and watched, and we had a little back and forth. It was amazing. It was fantastic. There was this history, and since then he's gone on to become back-to-back champion, and I retired. So I think he's done really well for himself, but his Hex Sense, that should have been blown out of the frame too, I think. Creativity, plow factor, dev drawing, he's the whole package. You know, if you win back-to-back tournaments, you're good. One person who did blow out the frames here, Dandy Drew. I think that's a common household name in Catan culture right now. Yo, shout out Ivy. Good to see you in chat there. But yeah, Dandy Drew, dev drawing, we all know it now. 5 VPs, 3 VPs. Don't put it past Dandy to draw those. And then Table Talk, I think that's his whole thing right now. He's on YouTube. He talks about communication, getting those trades going. 1% every day. Danny Drew is inspiring, you know, the next generation of Catan content creators, players, and everyone else. So good that he's safe and out of harm's way as well. And that is it, actually. So if you want one of those cards, I think you know how to find it. I think you know where to find it. But that's all the supporters, and I thank everyone so much for that. But we're not done with support just yet. We've got something new that I didn't even tell the Hill Climbers about yet. The Hill Climbers don't even know this. I gotta save a little bit of something, right? I just like surprises on surprises on surprises. The Campfire Award is something totally separate from the Hill Fund, separate from the prize pool. This is, again, thank you to Farmer. If you didn't know, Farmer is also an artisan, an amazing potter. She's actually not a farmer, she's a potter too. Oh my god, there's an ad break. Sorry, you guys. And a break. You know what? Since it's a break, I'll play my break for you guys just so that you guys don't miss this. I think you guys could watch these one more time, to be honest.
Have you or someone you know been scammed? Did you get stolen from while in last place? Were you unfairly robbed when someone else had more face-down development cards? Maybe you were on the receiving end of a nasty non-binding arrangement. Or most heinous of all, were you on the other end of a dirty monopoly? Here at Hero and Associates, we want to help you get a fair deal. Don't pay a single thing when you call now, and we can negotiate a future deal once everything's settled. Call 1-800-NO-SCAMS right now to get back in the game. That's 1-800-667-2267. Once again, 1-800-NO-SCAMS. I'm Retired Hero, and I want to know how I can help you. Are you or a loved one experiencing breath holding? Asking, how am I going to win? Sudden urge to make deals? Increased heart rate? And clenching of the fists? If you are, you might be getting plowed. Getting plowed is the second leading cause of Catan, only behind being solo blocked while in last place. Learn to recognize the signs and symptoms of Catan early, and you might be able to save yourself or someone you love. Remember, it's basic. This message.
All right, we're back. I'm going to be playing that ad break so much. I hope you guys get sick of it because it took me a little bit of time to make those. But those will be coming up every week. Back to the Campfire Award. Shout out to Farmer / Potter / TSS2 player. I mean, she's a whole bunch of things. Assistant Hill Commissioner, maybe. But what is the Campfire Award? I think we get this idea here of us gathering around the hill. And if you've ever gone camping, at the end of the day, you hang out around the campfire. Sometimes it's silent, sometimes you're looking up at the sky, sometimes you've got great conversation, those campfire conversations that you wouldn't get any other time. It's just a special time around the campfire, and you're really there just to truly enjoy each other's company. At the end of the day, that's why I play board games, is to sit around a table with people that I enjoy. And that's what this Campfire Award is to reward somebody, and we'll pick at the end, it'll be panel-based, vote-based, is who was the most enjoyable person to have at the table. Somebody that we love to play a game against, whether we won or lost. It doesn't matter. It's as long as we enjoyed their time, enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed the hours that we spent together, we're going to give them that. And what do they get? Farmer, the big reveal. She sent me this picture yesterday. It's still in progress. It's still in progress. But she's got this specially handcrafted kind of plate dish. We went back and forth on what it was called. Plate dish plate. But she's handmade the sheep on there too. She's still got a glaze and fired and all that. Shout out, because she is being a little bit affected by floods and things. So I'm glad she's safe, but she's got a little bit more work to do. It will be done, but this is a custom piece that she's gifting to the hill and to the players here. So Campfire Award, this is it. I know, Farmer, you're probably looking for the video. There's a video too. Yes. Farmer's so creative. She wanted to really show it in all its glory. So we've got the Campfire Award there. That's going to be something that really, even if you don't win the hill, if you don't win that 20%, I think you're a winner if you get the Campfire Award. I think that's one of the most important awards that we could give out this time around. So surprise everyone. You're not just playing for the Hill Fund. I think that's the info dump. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting so far. I thought this would take about an hour, and we've actually got a little bit more. I haven't shown you anything about going into the game. We're here for Catan. We're not just here to listen to Hero talk. Maybe some of you are. But we're here for some games. So let's talk Catan. Let's go down to the game. Hill climbers, hill fantasy players, people from all elevations, welcome to the game. No, this is not a real game. This is just to show you all what you're in store for. I am observing this other game, but this is roughly what you'll be tuning in for. This is going to be the Hill Central Command Station, where we'll get to see everything that happens. Lots of innovations just on this page. I do have a Stream Deck and I've programmed so many things for it. One of the things that I figured is during all of this placement phase, right? Let's even play this out at 0.25 speed. So during placements, right? People always want to know more about the players. Well, you're going to be able to talk about them and hear about them, right? Real great. You've got Dav Bav. We're going to be able to bring up each player's cards, the Stream Deck. This is not an ad, but I actually do love my Stream Deck here. Check this out. Look at that. Every single player, and even some of the shout outs for the big supporters, the Yetis there too. We do have every single one there. All the subs included. Yes, you're included. Of course you are. And you'll all show up on there too. So super cool. I think we'll get to talk about each player as they're making their placements. That'll help us get to know the players a little bit better. And of course, don't forget to get your own card. But during the game, if there are things that happen during the game, I think anyone who's watched any of my streams before know that there's, yes, production value, but things that happen. This is the home of the plow, isn't it? This is the home of the plow. It's time for the return, I think, of the plow. Are you all ready for this? Plows in chat. Actually, you know what? I made all the Twitch emotes free, just so everybody could use this, okay? Hit me with some plows in the chat. If you want the plow in chat, hit me with those plow emotes, because the plow used to take up the whole screen, and it's been upgraded just a little bit. It's 2024 now. Let's bring the plow out. Don't miss any of the action. The plow just comes right through, and you can still see the board. You can still see all the action. Less disruptive, but you know that something has happened on stream. That's our plow there. We've got a few other things that we're going to bring out there too. Thank you for being my mic check, my sound check. This is actually why I want y'all here, so that we can test this all now before we go into the games next week. Appreciate y'all being here. We have caution on the hill. We've got a situation. This is when people's roads are pointing at each other. That's our situation. That's the new one there too. What do you guys want to see next? I'm actually going to leave this up to you. Chat, tell me what you want to see next. I probably have a button for it. If it's a play in Catan, or if it's something that happens, I probably have a button for it. A points tracker, I thought about doing that. I actually did think about that, to be honest. But I didn't want even more buttons. I have so many buttons that the points are there. Some of it will just be commentary, right? A lot of that commentary will come out. We've got scams, non-binds. You know what? The scam and the non-bind, you know what? There is a feels bad one. There's a sad cat. You guys asked for sad cat first? Really sad cat. 7's out. Non-binds. Sad cat time. One more time. I love my cats. Farmer there, I think you said army? Yeah, there is army. I think it's important when people play nights, right? When people play nights, we want to make sure that people are aware of that army race and what's happening, because we can't always see the logs and really keep track of what's going on. So every time a night is played, yeah, that little guy's going to make a bit of an appearance. And you're talking about army? Yeah, we got army. So when someone takes army. Someone will absolutely take army, and they're going to call in the reinforcements. You're going to know that that's happening. We got road. Longest road, before I pull out the longest road, I figured the plow was a little bit lonely, right? The plow does get a little bit lonely. So I figured it's 2024, we got new technology, we should bring something else. We got the road roller coming through. If you've got a road building, if you're about to build a whole bunch of roads, the road roller is going to come through as the little brother to the plow. A little less disruptive, a little easier on the ears. I did see somewhere, if it hits, it hits. Well, we got one of those too. The 2, the 12, if it hits, it hits. Or maybe just a big brain move, a big brain play. That's going to be played out there too. I actually really like that one. That's one of my favorite ones. Little slot machines. We've got a few other ones there too. Thanks for all the suggestions. We've got Monopoly. People love that one. That's cash money on the Monopoly. You're rolling in the resources, rolling in those resource coins, those resource tokens, right? And then I think we got 2 more. This one's actually one of my favorites, making these ones. That's our yop. That's our 2 times. That's right. Team Kendrick, by the way. Okay. What did we have? Road builder, right? We had the road builder. We had the road roller. But what if you get the longest road? What if you get the longest road? You get one of these. I think he's fun. I think he's a fun little guy. So if you get longest road, that's what's going to happen through over top of everything. That's going to be how HIL. That's right. That's right, Crate. We're going old school. So you see everything else on stream. One of the other major features there. One of the other major features is that HIL voice chat. It's not going to show up right now, but I can do a little bit of a demo. It is going to transcribe all the players' voice chat into text. So this gives people an opportunity to listen to commentary and also still know what's going on in voice chat. That's right, every single word and conversation is going to be tracked. So play nice in voice chat because we will have a record of it, but we've got some great players. So I think it'll be mostly memes, deals, and everything else that's Catan related. But after the game, let's say the game finishes. Let's zoom ahead here all the way to the game end. Game finishes, what's gonna happen? Well, we go to post game. Oh. Yeah. Maybe I did hand select this game. Maybe. I don't know if anybody remembers where this game's from, but I got a little game over Dab Dab and Farmer. Nice. Drew for the win. But this will give us a chance to talk about stats. It'll give us a chance to debrief after every game, go through each of the clicks. Shout out to 2 Sheep. Farmer, if you stream, you get to pick the game. But this will give us a chance to talk about all the resources, all the stats. 2 Sheep has really done a lot with these stats here. Playtimes, dev cards, you get to see all that information on here. And you can, of course, hide the stats, show the map. Boom, look at that. You can see it all as we talk about the game around the campfire afterwards. Of course I would. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? Hey, if you're streaming, I think you absolutely would too, right? All right, let's check it out then. After this, we do want to check out the HIL scoring format, the HIL scoring sheets. So we do a little bit of stats afterwards, right? Because we don't just input, 10 victory points, 9 victory points, 8 victory points. It's going to be HIL points, HIL points, HIL points. And so we do have scoring sheets. If my bot is working, HIL points, points, I don't know. There's a link where you can see the score sheet. You can actually take this. This sheet is public, so you can take this, fill it out. It's automatically populated, so if you have 10 points, it's going to fill out those 100 points for you. I'll zoom in a bit for you there. If you win, you put in your 20. Let's say this is Hero, of course, the winner. Number of cities, let's say I built 3 cities. Actually, how do we win here? Let's say 3 cities, 2 settlements, that's 8 points. And let's say we got longest road here for 15, and we built 8 roads. Let's say we didn't get any largest army, and I only bought 1 dev. Boom, that's a 218 point win. And if we put other people's scores in there, you're going to really easily be able to calculate the differential, how much they scored over another player, and then we'll plug that all back into a master sheet, tally it all up, great for fantasy, great for practicing on your own too. And I know some people want to play some scrimmages after this to try and play with the HIL format. But that's stats. Once we play both our games, Hero Island and Fluffy Island, well, we go up to the standings. And we're going to look down at our competitors, our hill climbers, and we're going to see not just a rankings page, not just an Excel sheet of them, but we are actually going to see them climbing up the hill. Like, let's say Real Crate wins a game, you know, Ice Queen close behind, Donnie in there too. Oops, almost moved the whole island here. There we go. And then Ultimo, oops. Let's undo that. I should lock that. But you get the idea. We're actually going to be able to see everybody move up and down. Yeah, that was a little avalanche in there. Let me lock that real quick. Lock the island. Okay. Boom. Locked. Got it. Boom. All right, everyone else can move now. Done. I think this is a cool way to show standings, ranks. Everyone starts at the bottom here, at the base. We're at base camp on the island. I'm really excited to actually see who gets to the top, and who gets to the top of this whole thing, this whole new HIL Fantasy and everything. So, that's it. That's it. I have no more surprises, but we should actually go down and release HIL Fantasy. Oh, hang on. I gotta bring it back to the study. Let's do HIL Fantasy together, because HIL Fantasy is open now for week 1. Okay, so head to the Discord. I think my Discord bot might have left here, but go to HIL Fantasy, and I am releasing HIL Fantasy entry number 1, which is this one here. So let's go to the stats. You can see that a little bit better. And this is all you have to do to play HIL Fantasy to get in on that prize pool, is fill this out. Read the rules here. It's all included. This is week 1, island game number 1. This is for both islands. All you need to do is pick 3 players, and we go by the sum of total HIL points. It does matter, though, in which order you pick them in. Okay? If you picked Hero first, and Hero scored 200 points, but somebody else picked, you know, Farmer first, and your total HIL scores were the same, the person who picked the higher single climber with the most points will get that tiebreaker for HIL Fantasy. Subs are unfortunately a reality, right? Subs are unfortunately a reality. So when you go down, fill out your email, fill out your username, just so I know where to find you. Hit the acknowledgement just saying that this is for fun. Things may change, but the prize pool will not change once we get that all sorted out. You'll be paid out at the end along with everybody else. I have noted the subs in here, so there's no way that you can not know that there's a sub. You have to check these off. So in week 1, if you go back to the itinerary, I'll show you the itinerary real quick while you're filling this out. In week 1, our opening game is going to be all the climbers. So week 1 is going to be Hakuna, Ivy, Dab Bab, and Shin. What a banger of an opening game. Unfortunately, even with all this planning, there are a bunch of subs on Fluffy Island, so I am going to roast Fluffy Island just a little bit. But thank you to Vamos, Julia, Carm, and Crate. They're going to be at 2000 UTC playing the second game of the day. So a couple of subs in the first week, 3 in the first week, and then we got 2 subs in the second week, with Kelly C making their debut. Unfortunately, Bouncy Knight is going to have to step in for Hakuna in that game. Ivy and Dav Bav still retaining their spots. And then again, week 2, it's going to be Crate, Donnie, and Ice Queen still in there, but Ultimo makes their appearance. Farmer, of course, subbing in for Ice Queen. It is Team Ice Karmer. It's going to be a couple of subs in there. Ice Queen, got a lot going on, but still happy to have them on board. So back to the stats here. Let's fill out this. So all you have to do, right, you have to click all these. Sorry, I'm actually filling it out and making it. So you'll click all those, and then you'll choose one of these. You'll choose your players, and then once we expand it, then we'll be able to put in your HIL points. We'll calculate it up for you, and that's it. So HIL Fantasy is live now. pick your players for next week, and we'll get all those responses and everything all done for you. You don't have to do a single thing. Just pick 3 players. That's it. That's as easy as it gets. Oh, that took about an hour and 10, hour and 15. That's what I had kind of planned for this. I eased up on chat, Dice. Good to see you again, by the way. I eased up on the chat bans and everything. So we got lots of people hanging out. I think people did want to see a little bit of an exhibition game. If people want to do that, we certainly can. I think for me, I am willing to answer any questions that anybody has right now. Does anybody have any questions about HIL Fantasy, or what we're going to do in the next few months here, next couple of months? So excited to have this kickoff. I think the games will be great. I think it'll be super entertaining. You know exactly what time to come in. Stretch breaks. You know what? I did think about doing breaks. I actually do have one more thing, I guess. There are breaks. They just look like this. It's, yoga on top of the hill. That's a good question, Julia. Can players and subs play fantasy? There is a stipulation there. I don't want any funny business. So I made it in there where hill climbers cannot play fantasy. So they can't pick 2 other players, and not play for any points themselves just to try and win fantasy. So hill climbers cannot play fantasy for prizes. They can play fantasy to still be on the leaderboard to see how good they could have picked, right? That way they're more incentivized to pick themselves, play their best, and then just play HIL Fantasy. And so they can still get on the leaderboard, but they won't be eligible for those prizes. Subs can play fantasy. They just won't be eligible to win the week that they're subbing. So I don't want people to influence the game they're at. I don't think that's going to happen, but of course we have to put these rules and safeguards in just to make sure. The itinerary, I will put that in HIL Central right now for you. I'll put that right now. Boom. These are pinned, by the way, so I'll put that right in there for you, Pig. Good to have you on stream too. I watch lots of your games. Any other questions? Those are really good. Yeah, lots of this is all pinned in HIL Central. You might have to scroll back a few, but this should make it so easy for you to watch, so easy for you to enjoy. And I guess if there are 4 people around, let's get you all in a game. I'll cast. I don't want to play right now. I'll cast so that we can kind of just run through the tech and make sure that we're ready for that cast next time. If anybody wants to start up a lobby, actually I'll go to the Hill Climbers first, and let's see. At Hill Climbers, there were a few that wanted to be around. Scrim game? Question mark. Hope there's going to be detailed fantasy instructions. That's right. They are all in. It's all in that form. So if you go to HIL Fantasy, I'll go pin that one now so that you don't lose that one either. Let's pin that one. That's HIL Fantasy Week 1 being live. Shin's going to sleep. Oof. Shin is going to sleep. Hope you feel better by next week. Hope you feel better. I'm actually okay calling the stream early. I've got a friend in town who just came into town, and I'm actually supposed to hang out with him, kind of short notice. I think I've given all the information that I want. It feels like stream is ready. It feels like the game scenes are ready. Let me just run through them all one more time because I know some people joined in late. So let's go all the way back to the start. Just for you one more time. We'll do this really quick. We'll run by. I'm going to snooze this next ad break for the next 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes before the next ad break. Let's start from the beginning. We'll run through it all, and then stream's done. This is our waiting screen. This is where we hang out. We've got the HIL hype video, which starts off every stream, which is a great intro. I'm super proud of this one. This was like a great concept to help get me going. And then, of course, we head down to the island. And the music gets me every time. Every time, this music. It just brings me back to when I was actually streaming. And it was so fun. Then we get down to base camp, which is where we'll hang out the most. I think we'll actually hang out here more than we will in the study, but either way. When you go inside the tent, it is the study. I lied. We will hang out in the study quite a bit. I do like the study. That's our vibe. We've got our climber card introduction, but you know what? This one will mostly be tied to the pregame. We've got our trek. Okay, there's one little... thank you, Crate. Thank you. Thank you, Crate. Thank you, Dice. You all got it. There's one other little one. As we mark our way up the path here, we will have some little flags to mark our progress. We're not quite at game 1 yet, though, so no flag right now. Rules, in case anyone forgets, our HIL points, explain the system. We might do a small little intro before each stream just to remind people, because it's a new format, because it might not be familiar with people. Tiebreakers will only come out every now and then, but good to know where they are and how they stand. We've got the itinerary, again, posted into the Discord, so check out the pinned messages. We've got our fantasy instructions, a whole channel dedicated to HIL Fantasy. Get all your information there. We've got the HIL Fund explaining all of our prize breakdowns.
Have you or someone you
We've
know
got the
been
commercials,
scammed?
which you've seen a
Did you
couple
get
of
stolen
times.
from? Well,
We'll do the Campfire Award at some point here, closer to the end of the season, right? This is an absolute end of the season. Once we've crowned a Summit champion, once we've crowned the Summit, then we'll go from there. We've got our pregame show, right? All of this, and then of course it gets into the even more hype second video, right? Into this one. One of my personal favorite videos. This one really gets me in a hype mood for the game that's about to come. I could watch this all day. Either way, we gotta get down into the game at some point. Ignore this. I don't know where that came from. Oh, look at that. Either way, that's down in the game. You've got the return of the plow. You've got its little brother, the road roller. You've got monos. You've got yops. You've got knights. It's actually really fun pressing all the buttons. Caution, if it hits, the 7-out sad cat. Longest road and largest army. We got all the player cards up at the top too. Every single one will be highlighted. I think players deserve to be talked about and deserve to be highlighted. They should have, all of their stats, their attributes, their strengths, areas of improvement, all of that should be talked about. And then of course we've got our post game where we break it down. We do our stats. We hit the standings. And I think I'm going to call it a day there. So thank you to everybody. We are back officially. We are back. We're streaming again. Next Saturday, 1800 UTC. It is so good to be back. I will see you all very soon. Take care until then. You know the saying, do no harm, do good, do better. One last little surprise for you at the end. We'll see you all next week.